What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Art Shack. My name is Tyler. This video I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than what I normally do. This time I'm going to be showing you all the drawing supplies that I use to create awesome landscapes like this guy. Check it out. Alright everyone, so this is the famous drawing box that you see in most of my videos. So this box I picked up at a local store. You can also find this one online. It's I believe it's made by Art Alternatives. I'll put a link in the description. I'll try and find a link to like Amazon or something, but I'll do that for you. So this box is awesome. I love it because it's portable. It's a nice size, and it's only like about 8 by about 12 or so. Something around there. It's a great size. And this is probably the scene that you see in almost every one of my videos. I'll have this thing turned to the side with my drawing sketchbook over here, and then you'll see me go at it with my drawing. And because of that, I get tons of questions. You know, what is this box? And so I'll leave the link down in the description for you. So, starting from the very top, this ruler has appeared in a couple of my videos. It's just, I like it because it has like a little place you can kind of grab it, move it around. It's very nice, easy to maneuver. It's great because I like to use this when I'm making fences and stuff like that, just anything I need to make a straight line for. So that's always nice and handy. Alright, so I have a few things in here, and I've really like fine-tuned this to what I really like to do. So the first order of business, I guess, would be the pencils. And the pencils that I use are the Faber Castell ones. And I don't have a very large range of them that I use, just simply because I find that I don't really need it too much. So here's what I use most of the time. You may want to keep note of this, because honestly, I've never really found a use for every single pencil in the range. I guess if you're like a fine detailed artist, maybe? But it's all down to personal preference, you know, really. That's really all it comes down to. But what I mostly use, the lightest pencil that I will use is a 4H. It's a very hard pencil, and it's also rather light. And anything lighter than that, I find it's not really needed. Then I go to a 2H, then to an HB, then a B, a 2B, and I'll also use a 4B. This one is a 6B. That's for very rare occasions, but most of the time I only use 6 different pencils. That's about it. Reason being, well, you know why I don't use much more than a 4H. It gets really light and it's not really needed because you can't really see it on camera. But when I don't go more than a 4B because it leaves a lot of shine when you are drawing. If you press this really hard, it'll leave like a glare, which will make that tone of the paper look a lot lighter. And a lot of people will say, you know, that section of the paper looks very light. In reality, it's actually very dark, but because of the shine, it makes it look lighter. So a way to get around that is this pencil. It's a Kimberly 9XXB. It's very nice. It's doesn't have that shiny compound that's in most pencils, and it's very dark. It's like charcoal dark. It's awesome. It's also a lot thicker than your typical pencil. I don't know if you can really see. It's a lot thicker. You know, it's kind of like those children's pencils that are huge, kind of like that. So that one's pretty cool. And then keeping with the pencils, I've also recently expanded into mechanical pencils. These are Staedtler mechanical pencils. I bought 2 sets of them. A set will come with a 0.3, a 0.5, and a 0.7. And I bought 2 sets of these, that way I can put different ranges of graphite in them. And what's nice about them is that on if you can see this or not, but it says HB right now, and you can switch it, and then it'll say B and 2B, so you can customize what goes in here. And in this one I have an HB, same with this one. I think I have HB and a 2B in some of these, just to give it a little bit of variation. And now, what are these? These are just pure graphite pencils, you know, no wood or anything. They're pretty useful, but I haven't used one of these in a while. Oh, these are pretty useful. What this is, it extends your pencil for when it's getting smaller. You know, in here I have a bunch of smaller pencils that I've used up, and if I want to use them even more, I can put it in here, and it basically extends the range of that pencil. Also, you can put a full-sized pencil in here, and you can get real expressive, you know, with the way that your line quality looks, because the further you are from the paper, the more expressive your line quality is. So that's also another good idea for that. And I've also ventured into different pens and things like that. I have a couple. These are Faber Castells. I also have Copic ones. They range from these little nibs all the way to brush tips. So they're quite useful. They're really nice. I've done a couple of videos with these. The watercolor beach one that I did, I inked it first and then put watercolor on top of it. It's a pretty cool way to do things. And the next order of business would be blending. I really only use, this is a bigger blending stump, this one I use a lot, and I don't sharpen them or clean them or anything. I just leave them dirty. I find that they work just fine. And these are great for smoothing down tones and making even transitions and things like that. But going back to the pencils really quick, a H pencil will leave a very, very even tone on the page, while a 4B will leave a lot of texture on that page because it's so soft, and depending upon the texture of the paper, it'll really pick it up nicely and leave like a nice coat of texture, and it puts in a lot of visual interest and things like that, and it makes it look really nice. Stemming from more pencils, well, not really pencils, but these are charcoal. This is a charcoal white that I'll use. It's great for making highlights on slightly darker paper. And then I also have, I have to dig here. I have some Derwent charcoal pencils, which work really nice. I know I get a lot of questions on how do you sharpen these without them breaking. The answer is I really haven't found a pencil yet that doesn't break when you sharpen it. The only way that I can really sharpen it without them breaking is if you use an X-Acto blade, which is what this is. You use the blade and you sharpen them all around. You gotta be very careful when you do it that way. It can be a little bit dangerous. And then once you do that, use the this here. It's a bit of sandpaper, and then you can sand the tip on these and make it nice and sharp. So that's one way you can sharpen if you find that these break easily. Another way is with something like this. You may have seen this before. It's a tri pencil sharpener, and this one over here is for color. And what's great about that is it'll sharpen it to a factory point, which means that the tip is shorter than usual. You know, less typical of a standard pencil, which usually has a long sharpened tip. That one will have a much shorter sharpened tip, so that it will help to keep that from breaking, which is very useful. It's very nice. That, you know, it's because I find that sometimes I can waste an entire charcoal pencil without even getting it sharpened once. And these are just some refills for the graphite mechanical pencils. They're useful to have. And this here is another pencil sharpener that I have. It's made by Alvin. It's a glass pencil sharpener. It's pretty interesting. I've never seen one like this before, so I just picked it up. And it's quite small, quite compact, and fits in here quite nicely. So the next thing that I use, which I love, is the erasers. Let me move these out of the way. This is a new eraser I got. It is an electric eraser. It's quite interesting. It spins quite fast, and if you have, you know, really dark lines down, This will most likely be able to erase part of it, but it'll erase a lot better than, you know, a manual eraser. So it works really nice for that. So this one is good, but these can be quite pricey. I went for this one because I heard great reviews on it. There's also ones that will cost you $10. This, if you find it in a store, will sometimes be upwards of like $50. They're quite expensive. But other erasers that I'll use, these are kneaded erasers. These are just really fun to play with. They're very distracting while I'm drawing. I'll just end up start going like this, and I'll just be fully distracted like I am right now. So these are fun, but more than that, I'll use these to create my clouds in my videos. I have done a cloud tutorial, which I explain thoroughly how to use this, and it's just a very good eraser to have, mainly because you can shape it into the shape that you need, and then you can erase fine areas, or you can use the whole thing and erase an entire picture. It's just a great versatile tool. These ones, this is a Factis eraser, this one is Faber Castell. These are just regular white erasers. They're really good, they erase very well for drawings, and they just erase nice big areas. I'll also use these for making clouds and things like that. They're just overall awesome. This one, this is the Tri Grip Eraser. I'm not sure who makes it because the label has been taken off, but same thing with the other two. It's just good to have multiple types of erasers, because I always say this in my videos, that erasers are not only for erasing mistakes, they are also an excellent tool for creating. This is also a kneaded eraser, it just happens to be blue, so something a little bit different. This one, this black one, is really good for erasing charcoal, also pastels. I'm not sure if there's any like different chemical compound that's in here, you know, different from, let's say, this one, but it just works really well for that, you know, charcoal and pastels, things like that. Alright, I think I have, this one. This is my favorite eraser. It's the Tuff Stuff eraser stick made by Papermate. It's awesome. It's a mechanical eraser, has a nice fine tip on it, and it just makes great eraser marks. I use this every single drawing, every time. If I don't have this, or if I lose it, or you know anything happens to it, I would not be a happy camper, because this is my favorite tool. Alright, let's get into something a little more interesting here. These are not your conventional drawing tools. Here's my other one. Here it is. Okay. So what these are clay modeling tools. I usually do every once in a while I'll do a drawing with these. What these do is that this one has a really sharp needle point. I mean, this will go through your finger if you press hard enough. It's very sharp. This one is kind of like a wooden butter knife of sorts, and I blunted the tip down. And what you do with these is you make indentations on the paper, and then when you shade over that, it will leave those areas white, so that you can make really fine detailed hair or any other sort of texture. What I like to do with these is I will scratch out areas of a trunk of a tree, and it makes very cool and interesting textures for that. So these tools are very useful, and they're clay modeling tools, so if you have any store around you that does clay modeling, these work great. You can also use a lot of different tools for this. Like, let's say use a mechanical pencil with one of these tips, but don't have any lead in it or graphite, and just use that tip and it'll work the same. It'll make that indentation that you need. Alright, and I think the only thing I didn't really talk about was this pencil sharpener, which is made by Coom. What this one is, one side will sharpen the pencil. It'll only sharpen the wood off, so it'll sharpen the wood down to a point, but it won't touch the graphite, so the graphite will still be unsharpened. Then the next one, all that one does is sharpen the graphite down. So it's a two-stage sharpening process for more of your sensitive pencils and things like that. So the ones that break easy, it doesn't work very well for charcoal, but like color pencils and things like that, it helps from wasting a lot of that pigment, because sometimes those supplies can be quite expensive. Alright, and let me just double check. I think I have talked about everything in here. These are just some refills for my Tuff Stuff eraser stick, and this is a very small blending stump. All these are refills for the graphite pencils. Okay, and the last order of business is the drawing books. Like that one. And, oh, I actually have one more supply I see over here I didn't talk about. Well, these are the 2 sketchbooks, and let me talk about this one last thing real quick. This is a blending cloth. This also works really nice for blending. As you can see, I've used it quite a bit. You can use a piece of fabric, even tissue paper, or a paper towel. That will work as well. They all do different effects. It's just another tool for blending. Okay, so back to the sketchbooks. What is different from these, from like any other sketchbook, is that these have drawing paper in it. Typical hardbound sketchbooks will have sketching paper in it, which is usually 60 pound, and you know, not very much different than your standard typical computer paper or printer paper. And I can't stress enough, if any of you are trying to like replicate some of my work, please do yourself a favor. I wouldn't recommend using printer paper. It doesn't have the surface texture or tooth to properly shade and blend and everything like that. It really hinders you from being able to do that. The paper inside here is slightly yellowed. It's called Classic Cream. And what's great about this is that with it having that slightly yellowed look, is that it doesn't have that stark white to it. Because sometimes when you have that huge contrast of black to white, it's a little bit too much sometimes. Having the Classic Cream gives it a bit more of a subtlety. And also the completed drawing will have a slightly aged look to it. And also what I'll do in here is mostly just do my quick sketches. This is currently something I'm working on. I'm having it done in my other sketchbook. I just work out the quick guidelines for it and then go with that. This is another one that I'm working on. You know, again, just a quick sketch, and I just work from there. A lot of you probably remember this one. This was the sketch I did before the actual drawing I did for YouTube. But that's what I use the smaller drawing book for. I will do more like incomplete sketches, and I'll go from there. Like here's a palm tree, something like that. And then when I'm done with that, I have the initial sketch. I'll open the page that I want to see and prop it up so that I can see it while I'm drawing. And then I take it over to this larger one. And even in here, I'll practice drawing and things like that. But I'll have more completed drawings. Like this one was a tutorial. And I just have a bunch of different things in here. Like that one, a lot of you probably remember. Same with this one. This is probably still one of my favorite drawings I've done. I love it. Yeah, and here's that Phoenix I was talking about, the finished one that I did. But I got a couple comments recently. Why do you do everything in a sketchbook? It's kind of, it doesn't really look all that professional, or not so much that, but if you do a really nice drawing in it, it's kind of stuck in there. But that's my whole intent. I love sketchbooks because when I do like the first drawing in here, I can kind of see, okay, I did that, and I like it. But when I compare it to something that's later in here, you can really see how you progressed, and it's all in order too, which is awesome. So you did this one, I didn't put a date on this one, but if you put a date on the bottom, you can see when you did it. And then take this one, which I did on 5/19, and then you can see, okay, I did this and I had that much detail, and now I did this one and had this much detail. So you can really see how you progress. So that's just the reason why I love to do it this way. And also because it's portable. I can take this with me to different places, because I love drawing no matter where I am. And I can always take it and not worry about something damaging the paper that's inside. Same with this drawing box. I can take it with me and not worry about having it, anything inside being damaged. It may shift around, and by the time I open it, everything might be all in dismay and all screwed up, but still everything inside is protected. This sketch box, it also comes with this. This is a palette. I actually forgot it came with this, because pretty much as soon as I bought it, I took this palette and threw it in a drawer and haven't touched it since. So I have no use for this, but you might. So it's all customizable to your own personal taste. So this is my setup, and I spent a lot of time customizing this because there's only so much room inside of here, so it makes a really good drawing sketch box, you know, less so than for painting and stuff like that, because the paintbrushes might fit in this one, but if you're doing oil painting, it might not fit. So I hope you enjoyed this one. You know, this is my take on my own personalized drawing supplies. Make a list of what I have here, and you know, see if you have a use for any of these, because I may not use every one of them in a drawing, but it's just always good to have everything here. Hey there everybody, I just wanted to leave you with another end of the video commentary. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, the other videos on the screen will show you how to use some of the supplies that I showed you during this video. The first one being last week's video where I showed you how to use atmospheric perspective within your drawings. That one will show you how to really push your objects into the background and makes your landscapes look a lot larger. The video beneath that is where I show you how to draw crashing waves. That one's pretty cool. I show you how to draw all the details in the foam, everything you would need to draw some large crashing waves. And the one beneath that is pretty much the video I've been talking about this entire video. I show you how to draw some realistic clouds using all the erasers and pencils and everything you would possibly need to draw them. Alright, I hope you enjoy these and I hope you check them out. So before you all go, I just want to leave you with a bit of interesting news. I'm getting very close to video 100, and I want to do something a little bit different and something a little bit special for that. So if you have any ideas or suggestions on what I could possibly do for video 100, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will respond to every single one of them. Alright everyone, stay tuned for next week's video, and please subscribe. I'll see you all later. Take care.